This is what's left of the White House restaurant in Anaheim, California.
There's the picture with my mom was on it.
Every day here at the local Boys and Girls Club, some of the poorest children in Anaheim had been eating from one of the most exclusive restaurants in town. At the time, Bruno was giving away more meals than he was selling. He was going broke.
How can you keep feeding these kids?
How can I stop?
Unfortunately, that mission was clearly over. Or so he thought. Turned on his computer and learned what happens sometimes when really bad things happen to really good people. He got thousands of messages online and hundreds more in person. All of them offers to pitch in.
Whatever I can do.
Some kind of fundraisers.
Any way we can help.
And with that, the man who started serving all those kids on his own was alone no more.
You rebuild that restaurant so you can continue to serve all these children.
You know when you say you give a love and you get one every time back? I disagree. You get 1 million times back.
Larry Swilling knew his wife Jimmy Sue would eventually be hospitalized with a failing kidney. She needed a kidney, and he had no shame on the matter.
I don't care what people think. I need a kidney.
Larry, at the age of 77, started walking all over his hometown of Anderson, South Carolina, basically begging for a kidney.
She looks after me, and I look after her.
Thousands of people called to offer their kidneys.
There's a mighty bunch of good people out there.
Larry Swilling finally met his miracle. She's a 41-year-old retired Navy lieutenant commander named Kelly Weaverling.
I could do something to give this family hope.
Everything went perfectly.
I love you.
Now Larry says he has 2 new missions: to find other donors for other people, and to find a way to properly thank the woman who gave him his wife back.
There's not enough words.
Larry's struggling for a way to thank you.
Just take care of your wife. Just take care of her.
Okay.
Maya Shand of Windsor, Connecticut can't keep her hands off her husband Mark. But Mark and Maya have been together for years. What's different now is that they're finally, actually, together. Their separation is so defining. Mark has every moment of it tattooed on his arm. 26 years, 11 months, 4 days, 20 hours, 26 minutes, and 8 seconds. About a year after they met, Mark was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to life without parole for a murder we now know he didn't commit. Last fall, lawyers from the Innocence Project proved he had nothing to do with the crime.
Got me for 27 years, but I got Maya.
Drove 5 hours round trip every week to visit.
Why didn't you tell her to just move on?
I did. I said, I think you deserve better than this. This is not a normal life.
They got married in the visiting room. Maya raised their son alone and helped raise his 2 other boys from previous relationships. The woman is clearly a saint.
What's wrong?
For the first time in 27 years,
Don't cry, don't do that. Don't.
absolutely nothing was wrong.
He wants me to have a wonderful life. I wouldn't trade him for $1 million.
2 donuts?
He was on a mission to give away 1,000 donuts all over his hometown of Durham, North Carolina.
We're glad to make some people smile.
A few years earlier, Chris had been diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a terminal illness.
I can't teach them every lesson. I don't have enough time. But I can be a good person.
Chris says one of the benefits of ALS is that it puts your priorities in crystal clear focus.
Good, bud.
This night, he arranged for Logan, who loves cooking, to work beside a top-notch chef.
There you go.
He's got even bigger surprises ahead that he says will wow his girls.
That dad who has ALS was the dad I was born with.
And as for feeding her life lessons, he had her at the donuts.
So I'm proud of him.
When Shauna was 20 and single, she got pregnant. Says she wasn't ready to be a mom, so she made the decision to place her baby for adoption. She called the boy Riley and says she held him for 72 hours straight until the time came to let go. Her Riley was now somebody else's Stephen. Adoptive parents Jennifer and Chris Schobinger say they had no interest in excluding the birth mother.
Why couldn't he be both of ours?
Year after year, they sent Shauna piles of pictures and these bound books detailing Stephen's every major and minor milestone. Stephen is now 26, married with a brand new boy of his own, much to the delight of Grandma Shauna.
It just brought that full circle around.
Especially when she heard the baby's name, Riley.
Felt like that name was just supposed to be in the family.
I think the lesson we've learned is that sometimes we create barriers where barriers don't need to be.
How are you doing today? You ready for Christmas?
A lot of people ignore the homeless, but folks rushing past Moses Elder may regret their haste.
I'm blowing it.
All people had to do was pay him some attention.
Ladies!
And he would pay them back in Benjamins.
So there's $100 for you.
You can imagine the shock.
$100 for you. Thank you. Oh, that's what Christmas is all about. Hey, come here for a minute. Come here.
Danny McCoy put change in the cup, even though he has 7 kids, and until this moment,
This is $100 for you, sir, for showing your kind heart.
had no idea how he was going to buy Christmas presents.
Eternally grateful for what he did.
We love you. Don't you ever forget that.
He gave this guy from church $400. He gave this homeless mother of 5 $500.
And remember, people appreciate you with your caring, giving heart that you take care of your kids the way you do.
Thank you.
Okay?
She doesn't have cancer.
Good job.
She's fine.
Easy.
She just has alopecia universalis, an autoimmune disease that results in near total hair loss. Carson says it still bothers her at times.
Because I miss my hair.
But she says her attitude improved dramatically after a chance meeting on the lacrosse field.
She's like, do you have alopecia? It's like, yeah. Do you? She's like, yeah. It was a moment of awe, especially because the sun was setting. It was just like shining down. It was like perfect.
Alopecia in children is rare, which is why Scarlett decided it was especially important not only to engage with Carson that first day, but to remain a presence in her life.
I want to be able to show her that, like, you're perfect. You don't need to look like the people in the magazine cover.
Did she help make you more comfortable with who you are?
Yes.
By something she said or just the way she was?
The way she was.
So friends make that big a difference.
Did you not know that?
Roderick says he noticed someone behind his gym.
Saw this guy sitting in the vehicle.
He says the man was sleeping in one of his old cars.
Homeless? Homeless guy had to be.
So, camera rolling, he opened the door and told him to get out.
Come on, get up out my car, man.
The next day, same problem.
Look at you, man. I said, you know what? I came back in here, I made him a cup of coffee.
And on those grounds, Roderick began to build a relationship with 24-year-old Brian Taylor. He learned about his troubled childhood and his drinking problem, and then got him some clothes, took him to get an ID, and drove him to job interviews. He even gave him a spot on his couch.
I got a job. I got more confidence. I got a smile on my face.
Some people need more than one chance. You know, some people, it takes a while for most kids to stop bumping their head. Everything you did yesterday is what got you in the situation today. So everything you do today is going to be preparing you for tomorrow.
Honestly, I don't want to die.
Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus found a tumor in Grant's brain. They cut it out, but the surgery left him with stroke-like symptoms.
Good.
Through it all, Grant has shown remarkable determination, which he credits, at least in part, to Ohio State football.
I didn't like the word cancer.
So you decided not to use the word cancer?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you decide to use instead?
Michigan.
That's right. The kid named his cancer Michigan, and insisted everyone in his life refer to it as such.
And I'm like, why do you want to call it that? He goes, well, because Ohio State always beats Michigan. That was something he could understand, that make it into a competition. He was going to beat this disease.
Randall Olszewski at Nationwide Children's says you can see a change, where the tumor was before compared to where it's not now.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It's a big space, but there's no tumor.
My mom got divorced when I was only 4.
See you tomorrow.
He's the father that I always wanted.
That's the paycheck right there. If I can get that, you can keep the money.
There's almost no avoiding Curtis Jenkins.
So y'all got a big class?
Not that anyone would ever want to avoid Curtis Jenkins.
You know she's doing her best.
Quite to the contrary.
It's gonna be all right. I love meeting new kids every year because of that's another child, another life I can change. Hey, what's up, man? What's up with you, man?
Ethan Engel is now a freshman in high school.
Most people would, like, if they're a school person, they wouldn't just keep in contact most of the time. He is different. He will keep in contact with you.
We make the mistake sometimes of thinking certain jobs are more important than others.
I know.
But Curtis Jenkins made his job important.
In some ways, I wish my dad could have been like that.